6 of the fantasy basketball season's already here, and here's a few guards you should add on waivers going into the week. The first guy's Immanuel Quickley of the New York Knicks, and last week Quickley was on the list, and once again he's on it here. He's only owned in 26% of fantasy leagues. Quickley had a couple off games earlier in the week, but last night versus Portland was the coming out party for him. 9 of 18 from the field. 5 threes made, 31 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again, Immanuel Quickley, it's just a matter of time before he takes over the starting role, in my opinion, over Alfred Payton. Payton, he hasn't been that good this season. He's an up-and-down player, and at least with Quickley, he's a rookie. He could shoot the basketball, and every time he's in the ball game, it seems like this team gets a spark. Like last night, they were down 20, and they only finished up losing this game by 3 behind Quickley's emergent. And in the last 2 weeks now, Quickley's averages, they've been pretty solid. 14.6 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2 threes a game, 42% from the field for Quickley. So Quickley, he's shooting the basketball pretty well right now for this Knicks team. And he's a guy that should be owned in more leagues than only in 26% of leagues. On the season, he's ranked 157th, and the last week he was ranked 130th. So he's starting to get things going, and his playing time should go up as the season goes on. So he's the first player I would add on waivers this week at the guard position. The second one this week's Kendrick Nunn of the Miami Heat, and Nunn, once again, he came out of nowhere this season. Last year, he was pretty solid most of the year. Then once the playoffs hit, the Heat barely played him, but Nunn on the season now, he's averaging 11 points a game, 3.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.4 threes a game, 86% from the line and 50% from the field. But in the last week now, Nunn's really stepped his game up. 21 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.8 steals, 3 threes a game, 83% from the line and 56% from the field. So Nunn, the last week, he's playing 35 minutes a game. But so Nunn here, he should be the starter the rest of the way. I know Dragic's still there. He's playing 20, 30 minutes a game, Dragic. But Nunn, he's the better player right now, in my opinion. And he's giving this Heat team a spark right now. I know Jimmy Butler, he's been out during this time where Nunn's been going off. But I think Nunn, he'll still have good value and a good role. And Tyler Hero and Bradley, they've been out as well. But they're going to miss tonight's game. And then after that, we'll see what Nunn's role is. But if Nunn's out there on your waiver wire still, he's available in 51% of fantasy leagues. You go out there and get him. The next guy to pick up a guard is Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. Gordon, he had a good week last week, including a 33-point game and a 20-point game. And last week, his averages were great. 24 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3.3 threes a game, 71% from the line and 49% from the field. So you know what you're going to get with Gordon. He's the 6th man coming off the bench for Houston. He's going to hit threes. He's going to score the basketball, and he's going to have decent percentages. Just this season, his free throw percentage is down a little, but I think he'll pick it back up. And Houston now, with the trade of James Harden, more opportunity and more shot attempts, in my opinion, for Eric Gordon, even though Victor Oladipo they got in the trade as well. But I think he's going to be good, and he's available in 45% of fantasy leagues. So if Gordon's out there, he's definitely worth the pickup. The fourth guard to add is Wayne Ellington, the Detroit Pistons. Ellington, he's coming on of late here for the Pistons team, and he's definitely worth the roster spot in most fantasy leagues. He's only owned in 25% of leagues, is Ellington, but he's getting the minutes and he's playing well. Last week, 18 points a game, 3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 5.3 threes made per game, 66% from the line and 55% from the field. I don't think Ellington will stay that red hot, but he's hitting his 3-pointers. He's got a great percentage, even though it's weird his free throw percentage is only 70% on the season, but he's shooting lights out. Detroit, they don't have many scoring options. They pretty much got Grant, Blake Griffin, and right now it looks like Ellington's the third guy over there. So if he's out there in your league, which he most likely is, he's available in 75% of fantasy leagues. Wayne Ellington, he's worth the pickup. He's going to help you in percentages. His scoring's been pretty good, and he's a good 3-point shooter. But I would add on waivers this week's Jeremy Lamb of the Indiana Pacers. Lamb, he's been good since he came back off the torn ACL a few games ago. and he's owned in only 44% of leagues. So that means he's available in 56% of leagues, and his first few games back, it's been pretty good for Lamb. January 20th, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. He shot 100% from the line, 50% from the field. January 22nd, 22 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a 3, 87% from the line, and 50 from the field. And then last night versus Toronto, another good game for him, 5 for 9 from the field, 2 threes, 13 points, 3 rebounds, a block, and 2 threes. So Jeremy Lamb, he's coming off the injury. He's not going to play huge minutes, anywhere from 20 to 25, I believe. At this point, he would play. But Jeremy Lamb, he's going to help you in threes. He's going to get a decent amount of rebounds, and he's pretty good with the percentages as well. So Lamb, just like Eric Gordon and Wayne Ellington, that's what he's going to do for you. And the sixth and final guard, I would add on waivers this week's Cole Anthony of the Magic. Anthony here, he's been playing pretty decent since he's filled in for the injured Markelle Fultz. Is Cole Anthony on the season? He's available in 66% of fantasy leagues, and since he stepped in a couple weeks ago, he's averaging 12 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, 1.7 threes, which ain't too bad, 87% from the line, but he's hurting in field goal percentage at only 38%, and that's the thing holding Anthony back. He's starting to add the threes to his game. He's a good foul shooter, which is good, but the 38% is obviously awful for a guard to shoot here in fantasy basketball and in real life, obviously. But he's a rookie. He's going to go through growing pains. But last week he had a game-winning shot, and I think it's going to get his confidence up, and I think he's going to get better as the weeks go on. So Cole Anthony, he should be owned in pretty much all 10 and 12-team leagues and beyond that. So Cole Anthony, he's a guard worth picking up on waivers, and that's a few guards I would add here on waivers in Week 6 of the fantasy basketball season.